mailbag time here on Seahawks Today, and I'm sure we're going to have some questions on this guy, if I could point to him properly. There he is. DK Metcalf, as will he or won't he play? How bad is the injury? And can he turn things around after a slow start to the season? We'll examine that, get you ready with all you need to know with your questions ahead of Sunday's game against the Carolina Panthers right now here on Seahawks Today. First question in the mailbag comes from Georgie. With Tyreke Smith waived, is it Levi Bell time? So we're recording this on our live show Wednesday, just an FYI. And at the time of this recording, Levi Bell has not been called up yet. But part of me thinks that it is likely going to happen, that Levi Bell gets his opportunity to make the Seahawks 53-man roster. And by the time you're watching this, it may have happened already by now. With that said, Levi Bell, me, many others, we were telling you at the time, thought he earned a spot on the 53-man roster with how he performed in training camp in the preseason. I hope he gets a shot. If it's not Tyreke Smith, which I thought was kind of crazy, he got waived to begin with. If it's not him, why not Levi Bell and see if he can bring something to the table? Georgie, you might be onto something there. Steve John writes in, I'm satisfied with Geno. Pause. But for the future, should the Seahawks draft Michael Penix Jr.? Well, I'm glad somebody's satisfied. I'll say this. I very much love Geno. He's done a hell of a job these two seasons as the Seahawks starting quarterback. But as far as Michael Penix Jr. goes, there are a number of good quarterbacks in next year's draft. This looks like the best draft class in years when it comes to quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is phenomenal. Drake May is going to be really good. Shedeur Sanders is catching a lot of eyes. Quinn Ewers is moving up draft boards. I mean, hell, I'm not a fan of him, but Bo Nix is projected to be a top first-round pick quarterback according to Mel Kiper right now. Michael Penix Jr. I like a lot. But that said, Penix wouldn't be my first choice, but if he ends up as the Seahawks backup quarterback next year behind Geno, if they end up drafting him first, second round, I'm not going to hate it. I think I'd be fine with bringing in Michael Penix Jr. Geno Truther writes in, any concern long-term with DK's ribs, and will he play on Sunday? Well, as of right now, at the time of this recording, it sounds like that that DK is going to be just fine when it comes to this rib injury. A lot of pain. I don't even know if injury is the right word. It's a lot of pain. And the way Pete Carroll described it this week was that it was something that he needed to basically rest and make sure the pain goes away and that he's fine there and then bounce back from that point forward. But that said, sounds like DK is going to be okay. Unless he has some setback of some sorts, he should be fine. As far as his role in the offense, we've seen this before. The thing I think the biggest criticism of DK has been that he has times where he shines and he goes really up, and then times where things aren't great and are real slow. And, right now he's kind of started slow to begin the season of sorts after the way last week went. I think DK is going to figure it out. I'm not worried about DK. He's going to be just fine. What's your confidence level on DK Metcalf right now? Scale for me in the comments section of 1 through 10. Your confidence level in DK, where things stand at this point. Elona writes in, how do we get Carolina off the field, and can we take advantage? Great question, Elona. I would say this. As far as getting Carolina off the field, the thing I'm looking at, and I talked about this in the preview this week, is basically going after Bryce Young. And he's already coming in with, an ankle or knee injury, something like that, into Sunday. And a rookie quarterback, a young quarterback, and I like Bryce Young a lot, don't get me wrong. But I would see what you can to rattle his cage a bit, make him uncomfortable early. That's what I would do. If I'm defensive coordinator Clint Hurt and I'm coming up with this game plan, I'm doing what I can to go after Bryce Young immediately. Beta YT with $100 super chat. Bang! He's part of the Emerald Club, by the way, with that. And you can be in the Emerald Club with a $100 super chat like Beta White T. I support everyone. Also, who do you think will be the MVP in the Panthers game? Beta, first off, thanks for the $100 super chat. It doesn't get any better right than that, folks, than a $100 super chat. You'll love to see it. But Beta, I would say this. The player that I am watching for in particular for Seattle to be the MVP of sorts would be Geno. Geno looked really good last week. The offense getting into a rhythm. We saw JSN getting involved. Obviously, DK with that injury. We'll see what he looks like. Tyler Lockett had a really good week last week. I'm, in particular, Beta, pointing my attention to what Geno Smith does to keep this offense rolling, in particular the passing game, because the running game is not there right now. So Geno is the guy I'm watching for. Beta, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate your support and being a part of the show here on the channel. Geno would be my bet there. Speaking of bets, today's show is sponsored by BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get a $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet with that promo code Seahawks125. The odds for this weekend, Seahawks enter as 6-point favorites. The over-under is at 42. If you want to bet on your Seahawks on this game or Seahawks football all season long, you can do so. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125 to get your bets in today. Ralph with a $4 super chat. Thank you, Ralph. Says, who is going to be the starting tackles? Well, Ralph, great question. And it seems like, at least at the time of this recording, that the most likely scenario for the Seahawks starting tackle spots will be what they rolled with last week, with Jake Curhan on one side, Stone Forsythe on the other for the Seahawks right now with those two spots. With that said, maybe things change if Charles Cross can get healthy. Turf toe is not an easy injury to come back from. Jason Peters, I personally would like to see activated and be in a backup role, and then if one of those two guys doesn't play well, then him potentially come in. But I would think based off how well things went last week, you roll with what you got right now and then potentially adjust to things later. Beta with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Beta. Says, do you think Devon Witherspoon will have more of an impact on this game or show his presence at all? I absolutely do think he will. Devon Witherspoon last week against the Lions really got things going as the game went on. Then he really started to come into his own and was making some plays. And that was just kind of adjusting to the speed of the NFL game. Remember, that's the first time he's played an NFL game. He didn't play in the preseason. He's still adjusting to things. And so I think that we're going to see Devon Witherspoon from the jump have an immediate impact, and there's no reason why Devon Witherspoon shouldn't have a great game on Sunday. I think you will noticeably see Devon Witherspoon perform at a high level. Beta with that $10 super chat there. Thank you for that, Beta. Next question coming in from a Hall of Fame GOAT, 214, asking #Seahawks, who needs to step up on defense for Seattle this week? There's one guy in particular that has my attention that needs to step up for Seattle, and that would be Julian Love. At the time of this recording, doesn't sound like Jamal Adams is going to be quite ready to go for Sunday, so that means Julian Love starts again. And as I mentioned earlier in the week on the channel, the thing that I'm looking at when I see the Seahawks defense with Julian Love, it feels like he's kind of out of place right now. His natural position is the nickelback spot. And so I think that when Jamal gets healthy, Jamal goes back to starting at safety alongside Quandre Diggs, and then we see Julian Love move back to the nickelback spot. But he hasn't played good. He's been struggling in coverage. He's given up some big plays. I want to see more out of Julian Love. Julian Love, I'm calling you out, buddy. Let's see Julian Love step out. First two games haven't been good. Hopefully he can turn it around at this point because they're asking a lot of him. They need him to play well. And so far, he hasn't even looked as good as Ryan Neal did last year. Do you believe that Julian Love will turn things around? If you believe, type Y for yes. If you don't believe, type in for no. Weigh in that comment section. Tell us if you believe or not. Don't forget, join us coming up on Sunday for our watch party. We will be live beginning at 1 p.m. Pacific time for Seahawks and Panthers. And myself, Smitty, will be here. We'll have a few drinks on hand. We'll break down the game in real time. Come join us. You will not want to miss it. We'll be live Sunday afternoon. Sub for Dubs. Help us get to 41K in subscribers, and we will see you then right here on Seahawks Today.